It was the dead of night. The city lay silent under a blanket of darkness when police received a tip. A black woman had broken into a wealthy residential neighborhood and was living there without permission. Within minutes, sirens went silent, lights were cut, and 3 patrol cars rolled quietly to a stop at the end of a quiet lane. The clock struck 3 a.m. Cold wind whispered through the trees as officers stepped out, weapons drawn. Then, one loud crash, the door shattered. They stormed in, flashlights slicing through the dark, unaware that the woman sleeping inside wasn't just anyone. Before we continue this story, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and like this video, so we can bring you even more amazing stories like this one. Hours earlier, that same house had been calm, the kind of calm that hides stories of struggle and strength. The woman inside was Alicia Roberts, a highly educated, determined, and soft-spoken black woman who had recently bought her first home in this upscale neighborhood outside Washington. D.C. to the world, she was quiet and humble. No one around knew much about her. She didn't throw parties, didn't make noise, didn't socialize, but she carried herself with the calm authority of someone who had fought hard for everything she had. Alicia had worked her entire life to be where she was. Growing up in the Deep South, she had seen her father wrongly arrested and her mother humiliated for speaking up. Those memories had burned something inside her, a fire that pushed her toward justice. She went to law school, graduated top of her class, and dedicated her career to holding people accountable, including law enforcement itself. But her neighbors didn't know that. To them, she was just a quiet black woman, living in a big white house that didn't seem to belong to her. That night, she had gone to bed early, after working long hours on a federal case. As she slept, a single call to the police dispatch center changed everything. An anonymous voice whispered, "There's a suspicious woman living in that house. She doesn't belong there. No proof, no evidence, just a lie." And it was enough to send an entire unit rushing through the night. The officers moved in with precision. They didn't knock. They didn't call out. They were convinced they were dealing with a criminal. The house was dark, the lights off, only the hum of the air conditioner breaking the silence. Inside, Alicia stirred. She heard the faint creak of a boot on her porch, and before she could process it, a thunderous boom echoed through her hallway. Her bedroom door flew open. Flashlights blinded her. Shadows of men with guns filled her room. She froze. Her heart raced as commands overlapped. She couldn't even understand what was happening. One officer yanked her by the arm, forcing her to the ground. Another tore open drawers and cabinets. The red laser from a weapon danced across her walls. Her mind screamed questions. Why? What did I do? But all she could hear were boots, shouting, chaos. For several minutes they searched her house as if they expected to find something. Drugs, stolen goods, anything. But there was nothing. Just files, law books, and framed certificates. That was when one officer's flashlight stopped on something. A photo on the wall. Alicia, standing beside the U.S. Attorney General, smiling, holding a certificate of appointment. The beam of light lingered there for a long, heavy second. The officer frowned, confused. He turned slowly, glancing at the documents on her table. Official federal seals, case notes, prosecution files. He called out to his sergeant. "Sir, you might want to look at this." The sergeant stepped closer, his face going pale as he read the name. Alicia Roberts, Federal Prosecutor, Department of Justice. Silence filled the room. The same officers who had just stormed in now stood frozen, realizing the magnitude of their mistake. Alicia sat on the floor, shaking terrified, her nightgown torn, wrists bruised, mind spinning between disbelief and rage. The sergeant stammered, trying to form words. "Ma'am, we had a report of a break-in," but the words meant nothing. The humiliation, the fear, it was already done. One by one, they began to lower their weapons, looking anywhere but at her. The youngest officer whispered to another, "Oh my God, what have we done?" Alicia rose slowly, her composure returning piece by piece. The same composure that made her so feared in the courtroom. She didn't yell. She didn't curse. She simply looked at each of them, her silence heavier than any scream could ever be. Then she walked past them to her phone on the nightstand. She dialed a single number. Her voice, steady but sharp as steel, broke the silence. "This is Federal Prosecutor Alicia Roberts. I've just been assaulted in my own home by a local police unit." Within minutes, the atmosphere changed. Calls went out. Supervisors scrambled. The same officers who had burst in so confidently now found themselves surrounded by their own department's internal affairs investigators. By dawn, the chief of police himself was standing on that same doorstep, apologizing profusely, his hands trembling. But Alicia didn't want apologies. She wanted accountability. The next morning, the story made headlines. Police raid wrong home. Turns out to be a federal prosecutor. The footage from the officer's body cam showed everything. The unnecessary force, the shouting, the blind assumption that a black woman couldn't own a house in that neighborhood. An internal investigation began immediately. 2 officers were suspended, and the sergeant, the man who ordered the raid without a warrant, was fired. The anonymous caller who made the false report was later identified as a neighbor who admitted he didn't think she lived there legally. Alicia, though shaken, returned to work within days. But she wasn't the same. She stood in courtrooms not just as a prosecutor now, but as a survivor of the very injustice she'd spent her life fighting against. Weeks later, in a powerful speech at a civil rights event, she said, "The scariest thing about that night wasn't the guns. It was realizing how quickly my identity, my education, my career, my humanity vanished the moment they saw my skin color." The audience fell silent. Many in the crowd had tears in their eyes. That moment became a wake-up call for law enforcement, departments nationwide, to review their racial bias, training and emergency protocols. And Alicia's story didn't just fade away. It became a symbol, a reminder that prejudice can blind even those sworn to protect. If this story moved you, take a moment to reflect. How many voices like Alicia's go unheard because the world sees color before it sees character? Help us share stories that matter. Subscribe to our channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers so we can keep creating powerful true stories that open eyes, change hearts, and inspire justice. Because sometimes the truth knocks louder than any door ever could.